September 9th, 2019. Howie clears up his position with Robert Moor. Robert, as the podcast has come out and the articles about it have come out, we've of course been watching. Perhaps, just for my peace of mind, I'd like to share a few thoughts as our reactions have evolved. First, in the category of incredibly hard work wading through the massive amount of material and your writing skills and effort at fact-checking, as previously stated, we remain admirers. I also think your characterization of Joe was well done, with the exception noted below. Initially, when we listened, on pins and needles, to the segment about Dawn, I wrote to you that I thought you had handled it fairly. Partly, I realize now that that feeling was because we're so used to it being treated in an even more sensational and unfair way. As time has passed, it has become increasingly frustrating to us to hear people who had financial incentives to lie quoted implying with zero basis that Carole had some role in Dawn's disappearance, particularly when law enforcement confirmed Carole was never a suspect. Comments like he would be found on the property, for instance. Try to understand what it is like for us to listen to these 20-year-old lies yet again. We are just sick of it. You were quoted in Forbes as saying successful podcasts are about mysteries and pointed to the disappearance of Carole's former husband when he told friends he was about to ask for a divorce. Aside from the fact that the only evidence that he said that is people who have an incentive to lie, thinking about what that implies. It implies a motive. Is that fair? Why add that phrase? When the first promo came out talking about a feud, I just shook my head. We talked at length about a feud being personal, that at Joe's end it was a feud, but it takes two to have a personal feud, and despite all of this hateful and crude personal attacks, we never responded in kind. We just focused on his treatment of the animals, and we did with every cub petter or bad exhibitors. It was a battle, certainly. And as you know, it was really Joe's decision to have a federal lawsuit. All he had to do was stop using our name to avoid it. I realize feud is a more emotionally loaded word, and I assume it has a marketing advantage. And the dictionary definition of people arguing fits. But in connotation, people think of Hatfields and McCoys, a very personal hatred. I feel the characterization demeans our effort to stop the abuse. As we have pointed out, we carry on this battle against all the cub petters and bad exhibitors. It was not personal to Joe. Further, you were quoted as saying both Joe and Carole loved exotic animals in different ways. Joe loved animals? Seriously? After all the USDA complaints I sent you showing his long history of alleged abuse, after shooting tigers in the head to make room for others, which Rick Kirkham told you was an ongoing practice, he loved animals? I think the evidence going back to his childhood shows that the only thing Joe really loved was attention, and the animals got him that. And Carole and Joe are both extreme people. Hiring assassins is extreme. What have we ever done that is extreme? This is just not semantics. The feud positioning them both loving animals, them both being extreme, positions Joe and Carole as sort of equal opponents versus one exploiting animals and the other trying to stop it. As you continue to receive well-deserved attention for your very successful work, I would appreciate it if you would consider these feelings as you comment. Last, we agreed to work with you and put in far more hours than I ever imagined it would require because we like you and felt a sense of trust. For the most part, we feel you honored that. There was never any discussion of a TV series. We are scheduled to talk to Marshall Louis, tomorrow night about a TV series. Unless Marshall can bring us a TV producer who is willing to document understandings we can agree to regarding the issues above, which may simply not be practical from their end, I am hoping you can understand that our appetite for a TV series where we yet another time have to live through these 20-year-old lies and baseless innuendos that impugn Carole's character is zero. Signed, Howard Baskin. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.